What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bits of Tea with your girls, Queen Koni and Queen Jade in the
Yeah.
building. Okay, y'all, for the first time, there were no shenanigans with the setup today. I mean, it kind of was so seamless.
It
Um,
was.
for the first time, yes.
Yeah.
And you got the button action and everything is like so smooth for the first time. um, no. First of all, hey you guys.
Hey, y'all.
Before we dive into today's conversation, we want to give a big shout out to Sound Mind and Body Wellness, one of our babies, our wellness practice where we offer therapeutic massage for spiritual healing, realignment, and all the things. And so, if you have never experienced Our Touch, we want to invite you into our space with a complimentary 30-minute session on us. All
hmm
you have to do is go on our site, SMBW2, to apply, and we take it from there. So, y'all already know what it is.
Yay. I have no idea what we're talking about tonight, to be completely honest with you.
Well,
Because
it's been a
I
lot.
just woke up.
Real talk. You had a power nap, like you had
Yeah.
a restorative nap.
hmm
And I know it was deep,
Yeah.
very deep,
I could
deeply
have still
relaxed.
been asleep.
Mhm.
That's how it felt. I could still be, those sleeps that were, you
Yeah,
like, man, I could probably just go ahead and lay this down to the next morning type
real talk.
sleep. That's the type of sleep that I feel
That's
that
you
I
know
was
what?
in.
It
So,
feels like it was great from observation, like just like seeing you like waking up out of the sleep. It's like you were sleeping so
mhm.
deeply,
Mhm.
but you needed it. So we don't necessarily have a specific topic today because of dysregulation. I'm gonna just be honest, like just
Mm.
things that go on in your process of becoming that, you know, it throws you off and it's supposed to, like, it's you're not supposed to be on every step of the way. I mean, that's just like impossible. And so on the journey to becoming, distractions and dysregulation exist, and I feel like it exists even more, I don't know, intensely because you're so aware. If you're aware of the things that you are reframing and changing, you are going to feel it so much more. You're not going to be able to just bypass it or suppress it anymore.
Right.
Suppression is depression.
Yeah.
You told me that yesterday or the day before, and it was so real. And this was in regards to me not utilizing my voice to full potential, or even just like not expressing myself, you know, as authentically as I can, as I want to in my heart.
Mm.
And what we discovered was that for a long, very long time, I had been suppressing a lot of emotions just because of my environment and what I seen. I seen other people in my environment suppressed because we can literally speak without words, like
Right.
body language and
Right.
tonality and,
Mhm.
and all those things. And
Mhm.
so I hadn't realized that I was suppressing until recently, like the awarenesses. But the perspective that you gave me the other day was new for me because it
Right.
was like, damn, I didn't realize how much I had already been suppressing this whole
Mhm.
entire time. It's not just
Mhm.
this past year and a half, you know, suppressing grief over my dad's transition. I'd been suppressing grief over 3 decades just from different experiences of pain, you know?
Mhm.
And so, just realizing that, like, wow, like for me, suppression was like a depression, like in a slump, like not just not expressing myself and as much as I can.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you think that come from I mean, I know the answer, but it's just like you see people walking around, well, I see people walking around
mhm,
and their heads are down, their
mhm,
shoulders are forward, and it's like
mhm.
life is truly,
Life in,
being life in,
life is life
and
in.
it's almost like, it seems like there's like an energy just wanting like sucking you dry, you know.
Yeah.
So do you think, you know? your suppression was more so like a fear of just speaking up, or how was,
Yeah, for
what I'm
sure.
saying? Or
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's the proper word to say, like fear.
Fear. That's the
Yeah.
that's the perfect word because when I was doing um my emotional releases, fear was one of the emotions that it was the only emotion that came up
Mm,
that was in my body, but also in my heart wall. And then
mm.
the other emotion was rejection that came
Yeah.
up, which
Oh,
was just in
yeah.
my heart wall.
Yeah.
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 So fear, yeah, fear of speaking, fear of being, fear of expressing, like just fear in general. Just in general. There was fear playing out in my life in other aspects
Yeah.
from different things, like experiencing, my mom's health declining when it did was
Mm,
very fearful. I mean, it was like near death experiences every single day. Like
mm.
it was so scary for
Right.
me as a kid.
Right.
And then also like just fear from, the experience with my left hand. Like
Right.
just, being forced to do something that wasn't natural to me, but then also
Mhm.
being reprimanded, like being told that I'm doing something wrong
Mhm.
because of how I naturally am.
Mhm.
So fear from that and like fear from kids being mean, bullying, so
Mhm.
fear from a lot of different things. And then just like fear from the dynamic of a black household, right? Like
Mm.
being
Mhm.
afraid of your parents, which, is so unhealthy, so
Mm.
unhealthy. Um because what are we really teaching our kids, right? Like if we're
Mhm.
hitting them and we're disciplining them in ways that elicit fear, we're
Mm.
teaching them that that's okay. Like that
Right.
is survival. That's how you live. Like it's okay to receive, this behavior or this exchange from anybody else in the world because you're receiving it from me as the parent first in your environment.
Mhm.
Um
Mhm.
so I feel like a lot of those things are is what contributed to my suppression. And well, it is fear, fear of rejection, fear of, not being understood, fear of, not being acknowledged or heard or, just all those things.
Mhm.
Did I realize that this whole time? Absolutely not.
No.
Heck no. It's only coming up now because a bitch want to talk more. Like I want to express myself more. I want to show up more. I want to fulfill my purpose that I can feel in my heart and that I see in my dreams and my vision. Yet I'm still very aware that there's so much resistance being me.
Mm.
And why is that?
Mhm.
And what's coming up is, oh, because there's still things, emotions, memories, experiences lodged deep within my mind
Right.
and in my body and my heart that
Mm.
I'm just coming to the awareness of and releasing. But
Mhm.
before then it was just, the work. You're doing the work. You don't undo everything in just one, in one setting.
Right.
It's a continuous journey that lasts forever. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
We've been conditioned in pain and survival states of being all of our lives.
Right.
And so we are literally reframing our entire livelihood, our entire identity, you know?
Mm.
And that shit is hard, yo. I'm not even gonna lie. It's incredibly hard to reframe behaviors when you're still moving out of survival states of being. Like in your reality, nothing is going on, like nothing bad is happening, yet you're still perceiving life from a survival stance, meaning like you're still able to identify like things like, oh, I'm still living
Mm.
paycheck to paycheck, or
Mm.
I can't afford this, or,
Mm.
like I don't have enough for that,
Mm.
or, I can't express myself in this way because I got to save for that, or, whatever. It's so many survival states of being thoughts that play out while you're,
It's our fault either. Like that
mm,
literally just comes from black and brown people, and basically how we come into the world. We come into the world already suppressed and depressed.
already.
We're already coming in, and the narrative is being explained to us in a way that keeps us
Yeah.
down in a
Mhm.
sense. It's nobody to
Mhm.
really quote unquote blame, because I think within this time of our lives, and in this time period, which I mean like 2023, like we
Mhm.
should be actually, a lot of us should be reframing our thoughts and just be looking at things a little bit more and questioning things a little bit more and
Yeah.
questioning who where did some of these thoughts and theories and all of this stuff come from. It's just start questioning
Yeah.
your own reality, because your subconscious mind is a supercomputer, man. Like,
It is.
it's like, though, it listens to whatever you suggest to it, whatever you say,
Yeah.
and I just, in this stance, it's like, dang, like, we're coming into the world with a narrative that it's already hard.
Right. Right.
So, reprogramming, per se, that word, or y- I would say that, yeah, like reprogramming the subconscious mind to not have those thought processes or what have you is it is definitely a challenge, for sure, to break down the conditioning, to
Mhm.
break down what has already been implanted. As we know, the research says it, we're in a trance for a very long time.
Yeah.
At 2, even more research is like, when you're at the age of 2, also your
Mhm.
personality gets set as well. So think about, like, you're born into something, boom, it's set right then and there, especially, again, like us, black and brown, like we're set
Yeah.
with a narrative already, and the
Right.
narrative's incorrect, but that's another podcast. It's
Yeah.
another 3 podcasts, really. But
Do you wanna go
so
into
yeah, I was gonna, yeah, I'll hit it like my stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the whole thing to, was leading there. Um, so yeah, like, I can get where you're coming from, as far as, like you said, it's like the narrative of a black home, and
Yeah.
then the suppression and depression
Yeah, like the culture.
in the culture. Um, so, and that comes to me in like a couple of days have passed. I mean, it was like yesterday, but this journey, like, of discovering, like, more of me has been happening more and more and more. Let's
Mhm.
just put it that way. And most recently was, um the thought processes of living my life out of the survival states of mine, and just doing what it is that I want to do, without feeling some type of way about it, without wanting to know how I'm going to do it, but
Mhm.
just putting my focus in on what it is that I really am wanting to do. And
Right.
that could just be
Right.
anything, in the smallest thing. Like right now, the smallest thing is, there's still some projects and some things that are happening around, SMBW, that I'm wanting to get complete,
We still finishing,
and we're
y'all.
still finishing, as we always say. So there are some projects that, I'm wanting to get complete, and it's like, you know, I'm always feeling like I have to think about the survival aspects of things. Like, well, I would rather save, you know, like, the money for this, instead of completing the project the way I want to get done. So an example would be like, I want to spray the side of the building, because we got to paint it. We want to paint it white. And there's so many other options. Like, we can roll it on, we can
Mhm.
do so many different things. And
Right.
it's like, I've already experienced rolling paint on. Like, I actually want to experience spraying the side of a building,
Right.
because number one, for me, it's like, yo, we can get this is I like to work efficiently, and I like to work quickly, but not cutting corners, but getting things done
Yeah.
as quickly as possible with the tools that are out there for it to happen.
Right.
So I was going back and forth in my mind, on how to do that. But to stay on where I was, it was just outside. We're having a beautiful conversation, and it was just like, yo, like, if I want to do something different, if I want to think a different way, you know, what would that look like? It was like, and that's bringing it back to, well, let me focus on what it is that
Right.
I want to do, and let's see how that goes. And y'all know, like, sabotage rules the world. She's my best friend at this point in time. Okay. Not
Yeah.
really going nowhere, but hanging out, but coming like her voice is becoming more like lower and just less. Like, it's still there, but it's like, okay, girl, I hear you. I see you.
Mhm.
All of it's like, well, you got to do, you got to save here and do that. You got to do that. This person has to, get this, and you got to make sure that, like, all these things would start to, like, come back in
Mhm.
on the reasons why I'm not finishing or I'm not completing, like, exactly what I want to do. Something as simple as spraying the side of the building. So I
Yeah.
feel like, even in the midst of that, maybe there there are some missed opportunities that happen, that come up
Mhm.
when, the fight begins, which and that's the
Absolutely.
fight with how I'm gonna do it, what I'm gonna do, and then, just having meltdowns about how I'm gonna get done financially. And it's financially just means, like, for me, it's like constantly saving, constantly putting things back, putting things off because other things need to be taken care of, and they're quote unquote responsible thing to do. And I'm not saying I'm irresponsible with anything. It's just with money or anything, like, but it's like these are the things that also need to get done
Right.
for me. So I had that epiphany, like, yo, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do what it is that I want to do, and then the next thing I know, which is 24 hours later, um, I find myself, you know, back and
Mm.
forth,
Fighting with yourself
on
again.
why, I don't know, this, why I can't get this stuff done, or why, and it's sabotaging at the end of the day. Like, it's exhausting. It's
It
exhausting.
is.
Yeah, I'm turning that down a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
It was annoying me
Oh.
so bad. I was like, what is this? But
Yeah.
anyways.
So the interesting part about yesterday's conversation was like you made a decision. Like you made a you because you was back and forth, you know what I mean? But then you just came to the bottom line of like, yo, like I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm just gonna do what Jade wants to do, and follow through with that. But the epiphany came when you was like, yo, the focus. Like I'm choosing to focus on the task at hand because oftentimes we lose sight of the focus. Like we lose focus and we find ourselves deeply immersed in conversation with sabotage. And like you said, it's so draining. And then you miss opportunities. You literally miss opportunities. But yesterday you made a concrete decision to, make a choice. You just made a decision. I mean, it's not saying that, you made the right or wrong decision. You just made a decision that felt good to you in that moment.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it's like with all the shit going on, you know what I mean? Like all the dysregulation, cool.
Mm.
What's one thing that I have available for myself that actually feels good? What's one
Right.
thing that I know that if I do will position me to be in alignment with myself and source? What's one
Right.
thing that I know that if I can do it will bring me closer back to home, which is your heart?
Right.
And for you it's projects. It's doing stuff like spraying the wall because you enjoy doing stuff like that and that's your meditation, with yourself when you are in those spaces.
Right.
And so I think that when you made the decision yesterday, it was really from a higher aspect. You know what I mean? Because it's
Mhm.
like you are aware of your responsibilities and obligations. You're aware of everything. And yet your spirit was like, we need to, or we want to spray the wall. You know, we have no idea what you doing that is going to create next. Like, we don't know what outcomes are going to come out of that, but we do know that that action alone, that exchange is healthy for you. It's
Right.
actually something that serves you to be
Mhm.
in that space, even if you gotta rent a sprayer. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that action for you is worth a 40-hour work week because of of how you're positioning yourself to be with yourself and with source? So you made a concrete decision yesterday, and then today, the dysregulation actually happened. It was like the test, like, okay, like you made a decision, but now what? Um, and it was just a fight all day that the wall didn't get painted, y'all.
Yeah, I
Like
lost.
she
Like,
lost, like the,
Jade lost
and
the
it's
battle
crazy because once
because
you made a decision, I'm gonna be done after this. But once you made your
no, you're good.
decision,
You talk.
you literally may manifest the opportunity for yourself to come through because you immediately found where to rent the sprayer. You found where like bomb ass paint for a heavily discounted price. Like it just came to you. You know what I mean? Like we got volunteers to help out with the project. A muralist that popped out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
yeah.
so many things like just started popping up from that one little decision that was like a hell yes. And then today came the dysregulation and then all of it, you know, like nothing happened. I mean, nothing happened. It's still gonna get done, but it didn't get done today.
No, yeah,
Didn't get done
it
today.
didn't get done today. Um, and it wasn't gonna get done today.
It wasn't.
I
Mm-mm.
think I'm more importantly trying to, not trying. I'm wanting to figure out, you know, how much focus do I need to, how focused do I need to be on that, the project, right? Like how, like learning what that is. It's like, because there's so much out there about like how to do stuff and what to do.
Mhm.
And I think I just need to, at the end of the day, just find out what works for me. But like, what is, focus is having complete and utter, like, zeroed in attention on what the thing is that you want to do.
Mhm.
Yet in the same stance, there is the algorithm of, once you put something out in the universe, then you just let it go.
Mhm.
So like, what is like focusing and then letting it go look like? Because for me, the focus was, how I focus intently on something is like finding the deals, looking for the opportunity for something to arise that sounds, really good. Like I got up to the point to where I was about to have somebody come and spray it because bro,
Literally.
like I was like, yo, like
Everything was
that
moving so
sounds really
fast.
good.
Yeah.
But then here I am in the budgeter survival mode, like, maybe not this week, this month, but possibly next month to get it done. And I'm like, yeah, like that just doesn't like sit well with me, because when I have something and I want to do something, like I want to
Mhm.
do it right now. Like I want to do
Yeah.
it right now, and I want to do it, you know,
How you wanna do it?
and it's seamless, it's done, the decision. So that's what I'm saying. So the focus would be like, I'm searching for an opportunity, because again, how we feel, like I think, if I forgot what queen said this, but it was like, we could do things, like figure out how to do things, like some things really just don't have to evolve, cash flow all the time, as far as like an
Mhm.
exchange in that way. I guess it just is like the energy exchange is like, you could, if there's a will, there's a way. So my way is always like, yo, like I think of so many avenues, like there's OfferUp, there's,
Yeah.
marketplace, all these things.
Mhm.
I know, like I know you're looking at me like when you do that, I'm like, okay, do I need to wrap it
What?
up?
No, I'm listening. Like
Oh,
I'm
okay,
like
okay.
letting you like I'm listening to you
All
because
right,
you're talking or you're getting it out. Like
all right.
you're coming
So
to your own conclusions.
yeah, I mean, I guess I need assistance with like, I'm like intently focused on something, and then what that looks like, and then letting it go. Because again, action needs to be put in place. Like all of this stuff is just so confusing to me. And I'm wanting
Yeah.
to move out of the arena and that emotion and that
Mhm.
feeling of confusion, because, of the information that has been given through prior sources, or like even through, some mentors and things like that. I just feel like there's so much more involved in like recreating your world in the way that you want it to look like,
Mhm.
you know, and keep it moving from there. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
do you,
Yeah.
I don't know like I don't know what focusing on something intently looks like, then letting it go and allowing the universe to do what the universe does, and then like wait. I guess there's like so many different things within that. I don't know.
I'm waiting for your cue to like let me in because I don't know if you're done or not.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Um, I feel like your focus looks like when you make a decision and you're focusing on all the different like attributes towards that decision, like all of the elements, of the what you're focusing on. That's what it looks like from observation. Like you're just focused on all the things pertaining to what you're completing. And then the letting go piece is moving forward no matter what, like moving forward without trying to figure out the how. Like if yesterday you was like, all right, I'm going to focus on this project, meaning I'm going to focus on the things that I can get done, which is like painting the center blocks, researching where to get the turf or, painting the wall. Like that's just where you focus on those things, no matter the process of the how, you just focus on it in all the ways that you're usually focused on something, which is through research. Like you're doing your research to how to get these materials, and then you're putting it on your schedule to actually get it done. And then the letting go piece could be, again, just moving forward with the action you said you was going to move forward with without the dysregulation of the how, like stuck in those processes. I don't know. I've seen you do this time and time and time again, like time and time and time again. So in this case, it's like yesterday was a concrete decision, and today wasn't that decision wasn't followed through, and the result of that is probably how you're feeling now, which is like tired and depleted, and like because you've been fighting with yourself all day, literally. Um, like even in your body, like holding and tensing, which we do all the time, y'all. When we're dysregulated, we don't notice the patterns, we don't notice how we increase our stress and stay stressed for a longer amount of time. Like we take shallow breaths, we are literally like shoulders are up, eyebrows is scrunched, um, and there's zero focus on completing the task. Now the focus is back on what you don't have or what you feel you can't do, even though you could. Like you could still move forward with the decision that you made yesterday. It's just that now sabotage has entered into the room, and the conversation, the dialogue is making you feel some type of way and also contributing to how you're viewing like your reality. Like you feel like you literally cannot do something when in reality you can. That this goes for everybody. Like I'm also guilty of this, exchange. Like we all get caught up in it, and this is the undoing. This is what we're all learning now with the awareness that we're seeking, you know?
Yeah.
Um, at the end of the day, like, who's to say that by you spraying the wall the way that you wanted to spray the wall wouldn't position you to have a word of wisdom that will get you another client, in one of your high level containers. Who's to say that? We don't know that. Um, we really don't know that. But if we don't at least try, we won't ever find out. But if our spirit, even in the midst of dysregulation, even in the midst of chaos and like what we feel we don't have, if our spirit is leading us to do something that feels good to us in our heart, we could still do the thing, you know? And the resistance, for me at least, comes in doing that thing in the midst because that it's just hard. Like, it's like, how the fuck could I do this when I'm literally still feeling like I'm surviving? Like how? But staying in the how as opposed to like just doing the thing is going to keep you in the how, it's going to keep you in those same cycles that we're very familiar with. But what does doing something different look like? Could it look like us just doing like following what our higher self is telling us what to do?
So like, yeah, I mean, correct, 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 correct. Um, there's so many thoughts that go into my head right now, and it's like, so like I don't like I don't know exactly because I feel like in 2020, that the opportunities to like do what we wanted to do just because we could. I felt like we could at that time because, the world was on lockdown, like you couldn't really do too much of anything. So like in that time, like creating and while the world was on standstill was like the best thing ever because it's like there was no worries about
Anything. Everything was like on shutdown.
how something was going to get, you know, paid or anything like that. It was just straight creation and, getting things done through that avenue. Like, um, so it's like a feeling that I have. It's like, well, I've been in the position of being able to do what I wanted to do, yet like in this situation or in this chapter of my life, um things are completely changed. Like my entire world has been eradicated. So it's like, you know,
Mhm.
like the simulation where you like starting off with a blank slate and then you're building things,
Mhm.
your home and
Yeah.
your so and it's like how you're gonna do that, what's that look like and all this other stuff. So I feel like I have done the thing before and then the consequence of doing the thing is and being happy about it is turning around and seeing like my account not really reflect or my account reflecting on my decision to do what I want to do, you know.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
real.
very difficult for me to do what I want to do without it actually hitting my account and looking like being in what we would call the red. So I don't I still like even in this moment don't even really know what any of it really looks like what the reprogramming looks like in this aspect. Like I was
Mhm.
speaking about it, but not having like concrete evidence of what that is. So I guess now like the universe is showing like, well, this would be the process part
Mhm.
of finding out what doing what I want to do looks like without without the negative. Like without it looking at it as like, oh shit, like
Right.
I did what I want to do. Like I'm doing what I want to do. I'm, taking the time out for myself for all the hard work that I do. So I'm going to take myself out to dinner. I'm going to do all of these things, but and feel good in the instance. Like to me, it's like a dopamine hit because it is because I'm doing what I want to do.
Mhm.
Um, but there's the consequence. Like I feel like there's the consequence of that. It's
You
like
feel like a consequence.
yeah, it's like the consequence of doing what I want to do. Because doing what I want to do means like I'm not looking at accounts, I'm not looking at anything. Everything is Gucci, everything looks great, and it's done. Like I don't have any problems or issues. I'm not waking up, shit's not in red. Like I'm still being able to do what I want to do. But in this
Yeah.
instance, this new chapter in my life, because I, as an entrepreneur, it's not like that. It's not that
At
I
all.
cannot do what I want to do because there's so many other things that takes precedence in the midst of like me
Mhm.
wanting to do what I want to do. So it only makes sense for me like cuz again, this is new for me. Entrepreneurship is new.
Yeah.
Before entrepreneurship, yeah, I've had some bomb
You
ass
was
positions
yeah,
that
corporate.
like allowed me to live the life that I want to live, but absolutely at the end of the day, not being feeling fulfilled, and
Mhm.
being in that position because it's like I'm here and I'm being of assistance to my crew and everything else, but there's still like these rules and restrictions and tight schedules. Like I'm still not able to make a schedule that makes sense to and fair to where I'm rotating my weekends for my crew. Like I'm also getting my 2 days off. I'm resting. I'm Like corporate doesn't like that shit. It's like, well, you're in charge of your schedule. I'm like, all right, great. So this is what's going to happen. So
Mhm.
all those restrictions and things were within that. So I
Right.
wanted to get out of that and create something of my own. But yeah, now in this chapter, like I said, as an entrepreneur, there's a lot more to think about than doing what I want to do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A question that came up in um one of my sessions with Francesca was like, everything that you're realizing or that you're going through or facing now, what did you ask for last year? Because sometimes we don't realize that the things we ask for require a breaking down or some type of process where like something can no longer be in order for this new thing to exist, you know? And for me, I had totally forgot that last year I had asked like to be positioned to be able to use my voice in a more impactful way, like to actually give a story of hope, to speak to, thousands of people on a stage with the wisdom that has been shared with me and my own processes. And so in the session with her, I realized like I did ask for that. Not I totally forgot that I asked for that, but it's like I need to live the experience of the story that I tell,
Right.
like so it gave me more clarity on why I am moving through some of the darkness that I'm moving through. It's like, oh, like if I haven't lived or experienced these things that I want to talk to people about and help them through, then the story's not going to hit the way that I need it to hit for somebody else's transcendence. Um, and so like even like being an entrepreneur on this journey, us asking for certain things as an entrepreneur, we don't know what that looks like. We don't know what is required to have that. Like, we just are creating, you know, we are creating dialogue based off of conditioning, like all the shit that we've been taught, all the things that, you know, we've been conditioned to believe in. And so it's like we have no idea what the process is going to look like to attain a certain thing, you know? Like it may just be our process, like our unique process of releasing these emotions and discovering the generational curses, like we wouldn't be able to discover the generational curses or the things that need to be released in ideal situations. Um, I just we wouldn't, like we need to be in situations where there's a heavy amount of dysregulation in order to spot the thing, to capture the it factor, for the energy to arise, you know what I mean?
Mm.
To be able to release it. I just feel like if everything was copacetic, everything was still like corporate, 85.5, and like making all this money and stuff like that, you wouldn't have been able to identify some of those core things that you yourself want to release, like you want to detach yourself from, that you don't want to be a part of your identity anymore. Like thought processes and behaviors. We're still catching behaviors like on the regular that's like, oh, that's not mine. Like I don't want to rock in that behavior no more, Or, this thought processes, nah, I'm good. Like this, I didn't realize that this thing was still running on in the background. I didn't realize that, But if we're not in situations to where we're gonna be triggered to feel the thing to release it, then how could it? How could we release it? You know? And I think about that sometimes too, because it's like, why else would we be here? Why else would we be going, or why else would people go through, you know, these situations that feel like shit? You know what I mean? But for me, I'm taking it as like in these situations of darkness, I'm able to actually see the thing, the behaviors and the thought processes that need to be reframed. Like I'm catching the cycles that's been playing out generationally in my family's line. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm able to see it so clearly because of some of the spaces that we've been in. You know,
Mhm.
that's just my perspective on it because things don't be making sense. Things don't be making sense. They don't go as anticipated sometimes. And that it's like a question mark, like, well, why the hell not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing differently that's not yielding a certain result? Um, but then again, it's like if we're wanting to be liberated in all aspects, not just financially, in all aspects, we're gonna need to be in some places of darkness to highlight what is needing to be reframed, you know? Like today, for instance, you discovered in talk therapy that like you're depleted because you've been giving your energy away for years. You know, you literally have been giving your energy away. Um and giving with expectation. So also not receiving, you know, and not giving yourself your own energy, you know? Um and so that I mean you wouldn't have been able to come to that perspective or that clarity if it had not been for the situation of like you just making a decision yesterday and then reneging on your decision.
Like I've always known in a sense that like I am doing like when you're like I'm doing too much, like that instance right there would be like knowing like ping, put a pin in it, like I'm I'm depleting my energy. I think from those experiences like
Mhm.
today I'm finding out like what that actually looks like
Yeah.
tangibly in my world. And then I get to like I was thinking about I don't necessarily know what would have happened because we don't know had I stayed in
Mhm.
corporate. I'm
Right.
not going to diss my intelligence and say that I still would have been in the same frame of mind or, not moving towards, being better every single day. I have no idea what would have happened um in those processes. Like and I don't know. Um I feel like, when we know that there's something inside that needs to be evolved,
Mhm.
then, the decision, to evolve
Yeah.
it is made.
Yes, absolutely.
And so again with me, like I'm really looking into how or like well, I'm ready to leave, let's just put it that way, like the how to reprogram my own subconscious mind to the reality that I want
Yeah.
and want to see because what I have, the data that has been collected thus far,
Mhm.
and in the most courageous attempt to create this new reality, um, there's still a lot of the other that is there because I have programmed my subconscious mind to believe or
Right.
those things. So I'm just asking, like, now to like understand like what true, reprogramming is. And we talked about ritual too outside, and that is just like a routine
Yeah.
to get into
Yeah.
and to practice every single day,
Mhm.
like putting on that armor
Yeah.
and just rocking
And moving from that
and
point.
moving from that point because I can see like where I've never done that before.
Mhm.
And even and even in I would say not never, I would say it was unrecognized. There's some
Mhm.
gratitude here and there, but
Yeah.
um I'm gonna say like, yeah, I feel maybe not maybe, but definitely creating a routine and something that will assist me mentally on a consistent basis to begin to break down like this false narrative that we have that we're living in and really just create from here, and just know that the what is being created from here, um like it's a go.
Yeah.
The but get told, like, currency isn't real. The real currency is what you have and what you do, and all this other stuff. And money's just energy, because as y'all know, like, what's happening right now is that eventually, y'all, we're going to go to electronic money. Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's the
already
topic.
happening.
It's already happening. Like, if you guys don't believe it, then okay, so be it. But that's just another way to look at, like, currency. So, of course, when you look at how things change through time, that shit, how can you create that? How does that get created? If we're, again, it's just our subconscious. It's like whatever we're believing and wanting to do, wanting to happen, it just creates this reality out here. And I'm wanting to get off of that. I'm
I
wanting to
want to
get
go
off
back
of
to the question too of
getting off of
how
that.
you said,
So
like, how, like, discovering, like, how to reprogram, and the how for that came into our reality. A tool came in, that was hypnosis. And again, when we're on this journey of becoming or releasing and healing, like, the new behaviors, there's such a resistance to it because of the past, because of what we've been conditioned to believe. So it's like you're asking, like, how, and the answer came like months ago, you know, like months and months and months ago. And it's like, now we have the opportunity to dive into new behaviors, like, consistently how we're being taught to do it. Like, shout out to Juliet. She is amazing, subconscious reprogrammer. She is like the $1,000,000 hypnotist, like she says. But when I listen to her content, she herself, like, takes herself through hypnosis for like days at a time, like 33 days in a row, or she does like substantial amounts of like self hypnosis for her own self, and she encourages her audience and her clients to do the same. And on on the side that I'm on, not where she's at, I'm not understanding, like, again, like, how can I even focus on doing that when, like, there's so many other things to focus on, right? And then another one of my mentors or people that I look up to, she was like, don't question what your mentor is telling you to do. Like, listen to your mentor. Like, do the things that your mentor or your coaches are telling you to do. You're not going to understand why being where you are right now because of where you are. You're just not going to understand. You're not going to have full grasp of the concept just yet.
is that Rachel Rogers?
Yeah,
She was in her
Rachel,
container.
yes, Rachel was the one who said
Yeah,
to listen to your mentors.
yeah.
Um, but I'm bringing it back to the forefront of us now because it's like we have all these questions still pertaining to, like, old identity and perspective from old identity, and we're forgetting that, like, there's tools that we have available now, you know what I mean, that we've
Mm-hmm.
invested in to learn, that we most definitely could be heavily immersed in, to just to see for shits and giggles a different result, you know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, we can replay the conversation and the dialogue of what we've been playing for the last couple of years. Like, we could literally do that. We do that. But then we could also, like,
I'm really not, like, I really don't want to replay that
we
dialogue, to be
don't.
honest with you. Like, I'm really ready to
So, but
get
it's
off the
like,
train of, like, thinking in that way.
right.
Period.
Me too. But then it comes down to the actual behavior of, like, doing something different, like being diligent with self hypnosis or hypnosis period, being diligent with the routine, like you
Okay,
said,
that's not a
or a
difficult thing to
ritual,
do.
or
Yeah, we could do it.
the behaviors are not unfamiliar. Like, the behaviors of, like, higher self has already been revealed to a lot of us. And again, the resistance come with just implementing and executing the new behaviors on a consistent basis. We get dysregulated so much, and we're addicted to that dysregulation. We're addicted to the stress. We're addicted to it. So we're always finding ourselves in position to receive that because it's just how it is, you know? Um, and we always come to these revelations of, like, yeah, we could do that. And then we do it. And then dysregulation happens and we get knocked off and we forget. And then we find ourselves back to similar conversations, similar questions, similar things. And so I'm speaking to myself right now because it's like I'm tired of same stories playing out too. Like I'm doing the work to not be in those spaces anymore. And it's just like, okay, well, if you're not in those spaces, then where are you? Like, what are you doing? What's taking up space? Like, if you're not there, then where are you? And for me right now, it's like, oh, where do I want to be? I want to be immersed in hypnosis because I've already experienced it personally and already have seen such beautiful results. But I also feel like I want to do more of it. And it's like, why am I not doing more of it? Like talking to myself, like, why am I not listening to my own self hypnosis every single night? And what comes to me is like the resistance of the new behavior. It's not deep. It's just like just resistance, just like I don't want to do it. Like it's not
Do
I
you
don't
feel that way? Like, cause I feel like we listened to like the recording that you did, and it was really
it's
awesome.
awesome. And
So like, I don't.
I want to listen to it every single night. Like I want to experiment with my own self of doing that.
Do
But
you think
then
it's resistance or just forgetting,
I think it's both. Like I'm
or
allowing myself to
just
forget it. I cannot forget it if I wanted. Like if I want to, I cannot forget it. I could
or
be
just
diligent and
mind
do
is
it.
not on it. It's just on everything
It's on
else.
everything else. It's literally on everything else. And next thing you know, you done forgot. But it's still there in the forefront. You still have access to it. But again, the dysregulation and the distraction takes over.
Mm,
And then next thing you know, missed opportunity,
mm,
and it's like that every single day. And so it's just a wake up call. It's like, yo, like even in the midst of your darkness, even in the midst of like your undesirable outcome, you still have power. Like we still have power in the midst of darkness, you know? And but yeah, if we choose to focus on things that don't feel powerful, then that's exactly where we're going to be, you know? It's like, yeah, we can say, yeah, we know, yeah, this, yeah, that, but it boils down to actually just doing the thing,
mm,
you know? I'm grateful that I have you in my corner because, you supported me with my scheduling. I'm still finding resistance with my schedule, you know what I mean? I'm still getting things done though. Like I'm still getting things done. So I'm super, super happy at that. But am I on am I expressing my time as fluidly as I want to with the things to get done? No, it's not. Just because it's a practice and I still get distracted, I still get dysregulated, and it's a work in practice. It's just a working thing. Like today, we wasn't expecting today to be, dysregulation, but it was. And yet I still moved forward with at least one of the things I said I wanted to do. Well, it was two things I got done. I was like, I want to get these two things done today because I know that it would make me feel good and it would bring me closer to, my intention of like completing my task, and not procrastinating. And I did it and it felt great, you know? Um, so I just again, it's just the focus and where your mind goes. And having a routine and ritual, I feel like supports us heavily because it sets the tone for the day. You're already doing breath work to bring your stress levels down so that you're not starting off in stress, and so that when you do get dysregulated, boom, the breath work kicks in, the work from that morning kicks in,
mm,
you know the meditation, so that again you can focus your thoughts on the intention so that you can already be positioned to complete whatever the task is for just today, you know and then of course gratitude, just doing other things that is going to align you with certain frequencies so that you feel good, you feel productive, you feel energetic, um you feel inspired, but when you don't do it, you can't expect those things to come out, to play through, because we didn't set ourselves up for that, if we're missing out on our unique blueprint, for success for the day,
mm.
you know? So this is a wake up call for me because every day is a new day. You always have another opportunity to be better. Like that's the one thing that we do have available, is a new day. And so even in this moment right now, I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna do my self hypnosis today and starting today every day because I can and I've been wanting to do it. And it's just the resistance of not doing it. But what happens if I do it? I don't know. I'm trying to find out though.
Is it resistance to not doing it, or it's just like again, just putting it on a schedule, remembering it,
I
like
think it's the resistance, to be honest, because there's other things that I do daily that I don't forget to do. And I don't need a reminder. Like, I don't need a reminder for some of the things that I wanna do, you know? I'm only speaking for myself.
I
When it
know.
comes to
I know you are.
the hypnosis and the things, the tools that I want to implement to support my my reframing of my thoughts and behaviors, I am finding resistance. I am finding resistance with the behaviors that align with my higher self. I'm finding resistance with all of that simply because it's new. Sabotage is here to protect us. She annoying as hell, but it's a protection mechanism because we had to literally be in these ways, you know what I'm saying, for survival. Like it supported us at one point in time. It's just that we've evolved from that point in time and we're still stuck in those processes, you know? We're not in the same space we was, when we were children, you know?
But
But
are
yet
we?
but yet we're still stuck in those processes. In the mind we are.
Right.
Yeah, in the mind we are because we're still in
Right.
those processes. But in reality, we're not. In reality, we're doing something different. We're making impact and we're putting ourselves out in a way that we've never done before. And we're helping people. Like people are really transcending in our containers and in close proximity to us because of the things that we're doing. So I definitely feel that. So yeah. For
Mm,
me, is resistance all the way around just because
mm.
it's new. And I feel in my heart that with these new behaviors, there will definitely be different outcomes. Outcomes that I have no idea what those outcomes are, but they're new outcomes.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, like I mean, for sure, like I think that's a great perspective to look at too. And yeah, for me, I think it's, it really just comes down to like creating space for Jade at the end of the day. Like I don't
Yeah.
feel like I do that. I don't feel like I
Yeah.
create that opportunity um for myself. And uh because I'm too worried about like all the time other people. I need to make sure this gets done. I need to make sure that gets done. And by the time I comes to me getting other things done, then I know there's no time for me to do anything for myself.
Right.
Um, you know, I think
Yes.
it's my life that I've chosen for myself too, like the pattern of being in relationships and having those relationships preoccupy like a lot of my time and effort. Um, like as far as for to myself, like I've been giving it out and giving it out and giving it out and giving it out.
Right. So in this moment, it's like, well, what can you do right now? Something that you have available to you. Like what can you do right now that will support the intention of giving back to Jade?
There's this day that I don't want to do anything. I just want to like, you know, not have to, you know, get up and attend to anybody's needs but my own.
Yeah, so I think that you can do that.
So
I think that you could say like, babe, like I need a day for me today. Like I'm not available for SMBW. I'm not available for, being a parent. I'm not available for being a wife. I'm not available for nothing except Jade. And I think that's appropriate, like if you need a day or a space to give back to you without having to worry about anything else for just that time,
yeah, I mean,
it can happen.
yeah,
You have
I
to
mean,
communicate that.
I already like, you know, get up early in the morning, but again,
No, you
like
need like a day, like, or maybe I don't know what you need, but you know what you need is the point. And it's just like you don't have to be grandiose with it. Like you can literally,
because my extremes are extreme. Like if I need a day, like I'm gonna need more than a day, like to be able to get those, the downloads and be able to really connect the way I want to connect. Like it's just like I need more than just a day. Like I need a lot of time. It feels like that. Like I need some time to process my movements, the decisions I've made in my life. Why am I like in this chapter of my life? Like not necessarily the why, but it's more so like what did I do? What decisions did did I make that put me in the positions today? Like to really just like break all of
Mhm.
that down, and give, like you said, like everything else a pause or a rest.
Right.
And then I think about like if I do that pause or rest, it affects other people in my immediate circle as far as like if I decide to do certain things, for myself. So like I'm one of them people that, I'm really particular, like, certain things done in a certain way. And
Mhm.
because I see stuff, like I see, and it's just like sometimes like, if the person that sees the detail is not in there with the detail, like then shit's gonna get missed type of situation. And I'm like, fuck it. Sometimes I like fuck it. Well, if it gets missed, it gets missed,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, like, at this point, it's like, it's like, find a solution and let's work
that's what
towards
I've
it.
been working
Let's
on
just
is
work towards
finding the
it, but not
solution.
find let's find a solution without all of the other justifiable excuses that can keep us from the solution, right? Like, we know that whatever decision either one of us makes is gonna impact either one of us because we live together, we work together, we do life together, yes. Um, however, like, we have open communication, which is awesome, you know what I mean? So you know that we both know that whatever it is that we're needing, whatever space that we're needing, as long as we communicate that with each other and we coordinate our schedules to be able to support one another during that time or for however long it is, it can be done. There's been plenty of times where you needed to dip out for a week or 2, and you've been able to do that, no problem, you know? Vice versa, if I need this, I'm able to take the space, you know? So it always is there for us. It's always there, you know what I mean? It's not like there's so much going on to where you can't take the time that you need for yourself, you
And that's
know?
the programming
It's the
that I have.
programming, exactly.
So if I was to turn the programming off,
And who's to say that you need a lot of time? Who's to say that you need 3 months to be able to get the answers or the clarity that you need? You may just really need 1 day of no distractions or no other outside, sources. You just don't know. We don't know that. But what we do know is that or what you know right now is that you need space for Jade. Like, you need to be giving Jade back energy, to yourself however way you can. Like, even if it looks like, for a practical person, like, "Okay, well, I'm not comfortable, pulling away from this expense to do this, but maybe I can just, save my tips or, whatever creative thing that comes to you to be able to fulfill the intention is going to be the right answer. It always is.
right?
But in this space in particular, if Jade is telling you, I want to spray the wall with a sprayer, like, today, I wanna do that, and then you move forward in that intention, and then you position yourself to receive support, like bomb-ass discounted paint or, you know, a person volunteering to help you, whatever, then it's just like, just do that because right now that's what you need. That's the most important thing right now is the replenishment of your energy. That's so much more important than a bill. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's so much more important than a conversation with me because I'm feeling, I just want to talk to you even though you need rest. Right? Like right now, replenishment of your own energy for Jade that's the most important thing for Jade. You're in a beautiful space with a partner who definitely understands the work with beautiful comrades, the clients that understand what you do and appreciate what you do. and you have support. We all do. We have support, you know? Um, and that's just what it is, you know? Like this too shall pass. Like you're gonna these cycles that we go through and these moments of like, chaos and just like confusion, they pass. When there's chaos, there's order. When there's chaos,
Yeah,
there's order.
and
It's right around the
that's
corner.
yeah. You're right. You're right.
Thank you for being vulnerable. And, you know, we do this every week because it's our therapy. It helps us gain clarity. And we're also showing up so that you guys can also know that it's okay to be moving through these processes. You're not alone. Like, we are all doing the work. You know what I mean? Like, we're all like aspiring to be better and trying to understand and rediscover ourselves in ways that we just don't know. Like it's okay.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't deny it. I know the clock is running up, so um,
Yeah, this is a great conversation.
yeah. So begin the day with love,
Fill the day with love
end the day with
and
love.
end the day with love. Peace.
Peace.